Welcome, everybody. It's Kiwiradio.nz. Oh, the early comers have already arrived. Hello to Karen and Retro Valley joining in this Tuesday, 7 p.m. New Zealand time. What an exciting episode for you coming up. I'll talk about it more shortly, but first of all, brand new from the studio, we did a collab with Kiwi artist Jenny Smith. This is the Ralphie remix, future bass remix. I think that's what they call the genre. Starting off with that, and then I'll be introducing our guest coming up. You're tuned in to Kiwi Radio. You're tuned into Kiwiradio.nz, and welcome to our weekly showcase of usually Kiwi musicians, but we're mixing it up a little bit. And I met a lovely man called Santosh Satpathy at one of my gigs. He's an architect, motivational speaker, working in both India and New Zealand. And I've actually got him on the phone today because we're going to be talking about the interesting effects of what music does to our productivity and daily lives. But I'll get him to explain it in his own words. But before I do want to thank you all for joining us. That's Rucha, Como, Mercury Architects, Karen Franson. Hello, everybody from the UK to New Zealand and all around the world. Thank you for tuning in to our little part of the web. Also, Christy and Pooja, welcome to the stream. We are going to be talking about the effects of music for the next hour. We have Santosh on the phone right now. Give him a warm welcome. How you doing?
Thank you.
How's things, man?
Yeah. Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Ralph.
Now, just a bit of a before we get into the nitty gritty of the conversation, and we've got a lot to talk about. I want to first tell the audience about the interesting way we met. I was one of our gigs, and we had a mutual love of Coldplay music. You got up, sung your little heart out to the crowd that we had at the market. It was a bit of fun. I got to dig that up somewhere when I've got time. A video might appear on the social medias at some point. But, it was really great. You were very smiley, so I knew you were approachable straight from the word go. And then I started following you on social media and realized that you're a very interesting guy all round. So, welcome to Santosh's friends and family listening in tonight. Santosh, you are an architect, but also because we have a creative tribe here on Kiwiradio.nz and upfm.co.nz, we thought we'd talk a little bit about music and what it does for our productivity and daily lives. Something along those lines. Maybe you can tell us a bit more about what's planned for this episode.
Yeah. Hey, Ralph, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Hello?
I can hear you. I can hear you. I was just saying, maybe you can tell in your own words what we have planned for this episode.
Yes. So I'll take a moment to introduce me. My name is Santosh Satpathy. I'm originally from India, but living in New Zealand since 2016, and we are mainly into architectural practice. So we design houses, and we have two offices, one in Auckland itself and one in Mumbai. So I keep traveling and enjoying both part of the world. And out of passion, I love doing educational seminars in architecture colleges mainly. And some of my topics are thinking how to be a student, and also I keep on talking on educational stuff regarding environmental and waste management in councils. So yeah, so this is purely out of passion. Like, I love talking and educating people of whatever knowledge I have gathered over the years of my time and travel. So yes, so that is bit of me. And the interesting fact is, like, how we met was in an art fair where I saw you playing Coldplay Trouble. Not very few, yeah, not many people actually listen to that one, and that kind of triggered me to approach you, and we also had a little jamming session. So that was interesting, and yeah, music is a big part of my life as well. Like, I happen to play a little bit of guitar mainly because of one of my roommate. When doing architecture, he used to play guitar a lot, a very very good player. And with his influence, I quite bit of adapted music in my life, and I've seen a very positive change of music in my life. So here we are talking on the same topic today.
That's really awesome. Well, can you start by explaining how music impacts our emotions and feelings?
Yes. So yes, music does has a deep impact on our mind, and depending on the mood in which we are, it has a very deep triggering factor. Now, to give you a certain example, is number one is dopamine release. There are certain music you tend to repeat on a listen in a repeated mode. Mainly it happens with the current trend of music, and it creates that urge of more and more. Like, it gives you that good feeling, or if you're in a sad feeling, it keeps on dragging you into that. So that is one type of impact. Second is, it makes you heavily emotional. Like, if you're going through a breakup, you would listen to a sad music that will support your feeling, and you stay in that emotion for a longer time. And third would be a memory trigger. Like, you must have experienced, like, hearing to some childhood music, some backdated music. It refreshes all the memory. Or listening to music in which you had a party or a blast, you end up calling people, calling your old colleagues and lads. So it also gives you that memory refreshment, or triggers that. And the next one is, it changes your heartbeat and breathing. So let's say if you're listening to workout music or upbeat dance music, your body automatically starts moving. And a classic example is a background score of a horror movie. So it also changes your heartbeat, like it, gives you that uh, fear. It builds that emotion in you, and also social connection. So music has a very powerful unifying factor. Like if you hear a national anthem or a college song or your school song, it binds us all together as one. So that is also a very powerful connection which I feel music has. And emotional healing, some spiritual music chantings can heal you and take you away from the pain, grief, or stress that you're currently experiencing. And the classic one is a lot of sales and advertisement is incomplete without having a good music tone. For example, Game of Thrones, you are so connected with that music. No matter if you're liking the series, I mean, your rating of the series must uh, can be anything, but the emotional connect with the series is mainly because of the entry song. So, which is what I feel. So yeah, it does has impact, positive, negative, neutral. What do you think, Alf?
It's
Have you
really interesting,
experienced?
yeah, because when I listen to a piece of music, it takes me back to a certain time and mood. And I read this about music where it's almost like an ear nugget, right? It's not necessary.
Yes.
It's music is uh, predominantly patterns and tone and pitch, but I totally agree. It associates it with a certain time or memory or feeling. And isn't it interesting that two people can listen to a piece of music, and one person could totally relate with it, and the other one will dislike it. Do you have any thoughts as to why that may be? Why there's
Yes. Yes, because over the period of time, our goals or our missions or our adaptation to our life is different. Like, let's say 2 years back, when I was in my teen, I used to listen to Linkin Park a lot. I was 17, 18, and that was mainly because few of my friends were associated with that kind of music, so rap and rock. So that is what I was listening to, and it was giving me some sort of satisfaction. But
mm,
now, the example of me and my wife, I mean, my choices of music is very different than my wife.
yeah.
So she listens to more of uh, dancing numbers and all that, and I am more of instrumental kind of thing, because the activities currently what I do in my life is more of research. So I need the
Mm.
type of music which helps me. So that can be one reason.
That's interesting too, because don't you agree that a person is not the same every, I would say, 7 years as well. So the angst Santosh listening to Linkin Park is is not the same 7 years on when you're a professional architect and you want to get in the zone. Maybe maybe you're at the gym as well, so you get some upbeat music, so it's not so angst, not so. And but it's interesting, right? So what you're saying is the reason why some people connect with a certain song and others don't is it's really depending on where they're at in their own personal journey.
Yes, yes, yes,
Mm,
it is exactly what they are currently feeling, and yeah. So I'll come to a point of in the later session of the session, like how we live our life and how we associate ourselves with goals and how other things are connected. So maybe I'll take this towards the end of the session.
yeah, well, thank you. I'm very excited about this type and format of the podcast. As mentioned, we usually do a weekly showcase, 3 songs from a local artist, and we will continue to do that, by the way. We've got lots of acts coming up on the podcast. But every now and then, I do like to invite an interesting guest that's maybe lives in a different world slightly, but then kind of bring it back
Yeah.
to the creative tribe that we have here building up on Kiwiradio.nz. In fact, right now on the Instagram simulcast, we have I call it our tribe because it's like past guests, people that we know. There's Christy there, and she does her own podcast. Just like it really is like a creative tribe. So I really thank everyone for joining us here today. If you want to join the conversation, I will open the lines. We do have a landline called which is 0988985555. That is on your screen there. I'll open it up a little bit later for Q&A at the tail end of the hour. But yeah, Santosh, thank you so much for discussing this with me, and we've got some talking points to get through. But first of all, I want to get a bit of feedback from you guys. We were talking about how a certain song might connect with others and maybe not connect with other people as well. And that's totally fine. So we're going to play, which I think is one of the most beautiful vocalists in the world right now. I was so honored and glad to have not met her, not that, famous, but I went to her concert when she was here in Auckland, and it's no other than Adele. Did you know that Adele, by the way, she did so many gigs at her last tour, and she said she's kind of taken it. Well, how she said it was she's retiring from touring. I can imagine that it would be pretty tiring playing almost every night, right, for 2 years straight.
Yes.
But yes, so anyways, let us know in the comments there whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on your Instagram, or if you tuned in via audio only, which is Kiwiradio.nz, as well as upfm.co.nz, simulcasting our beautiful show here this evening. The song I want to play for you to kind of, have a bit of a musical break is Skyfall, Let us know what you think of the
Beautiful.
song. We'll be right back with our wonderful guest, Santosh.
This is the end. Hold your breath and count to 10. Feel the earth move and then hear my heart burst again. For this is the end. I've drowned and dreamt this moment, so overdue I owe it. Swept away, I'm stolen. Let the sky fall when it crumbles. We will stand tall, face it all together. Let the sky fall when it crumbles. We will stand tall, face it all together. Let sky fall. Let sky fall. Skyfall is where we start. 1,000 miles and poles apart, where worlds collide and days are dark. You may have my number, you can take my name, but you'll never have my heart. Let the sky fall. We will stand tall, face it all together. Let the sky fall when it crumbles. We will stand tall, face it all together. Let sky fall when it crumbles. We will stand tall. When the sky falls. Where you go, I go. What you see, I see. I know I'll never be me without the security. All your loving arms keeping me from harm. Put your hand in my hand and we'll stay. Let the sky fall when it crumbles. We will stand tall, face it all together. Let the sky fall when it crumbles. We will stand tall, face it all together. Let the sky fall. Let the sky fall. We'll stand tall. Let the sky fall.
I stand by my comment. Adele, beautiful, beautiful music. What do you guys think? Adele, is it a yay or nay? But yes, Santosh, yeah, great recommendation too. That was, from you, obviously.
Thank you.
And yeah, so tell us like something about the impact of sound in, say, daily life.
Yes. So we are actually surrounded by music and sound all the time. And out of all these senses, I regard hearing sense as the topmost. So, and I'll get to that. Like, if have you experienced going to a spa? They'll the spas are always dark room, or they'll put they'll ask you to close your eyes. They'll in fact put some cucumber on your eyes, so you are actually usually not seeing anything, but all you hear is a very good soothing music, and your other senses of touch is activated there. So even if you listen to a song or a story, you can simply close your eyes, but you can visualize everything. So hearing sense is the most important sense. And to add to that is, I always watch a horror movie, but when the moment the impact is going to come, I just mute it. So the impact level is gone down. So out of all the senses, hearing is one of the top senses, and that's why it has a very impact on our daily life. Like, there are five major emotions that we always go through. Now, number one is happiness, sadness, motivation, anger, and fear. Now, to start with anger, if you have not slept well in life in the night, and if you wake up with an alarm clock ringing, you automatically go like, ugh. So, day starts with a lot of irritation and anger. So, have you experienced that, Ralph, before?
Yeah, I was actually playing with a few buttons. To be
Yes.
frank, this there we go.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
already music is affecting my distraction in a way. So maybe you could tell me about how I can stay a bit focused with music.
Yeah. So, I think organization and planning is very important. So, certain daily sounds like notification sound, the whistle sound of Instagram, or the tidding sound of all the other apps, they're beautifully designed so that you can be dragged back to the app and keep on scrolling. So basically, you are the product for them. So
Mm,
your time is their product. So if we can, so I always, while working, I always keep my phone on silent mode. I try to wake up with the body clock, not use the alarm,
yeah.
because it has a negative triggering factor. So it generates anger, it generates fear of missing out. So yeah, these
Yeah.
are so two emotions that we can, self management can help you to stay out of it.
Mm.
And
Two
yeah, and
very
if we
two very
yes, yeah,
interesting
yeah, yeah, go
points
on.
you just brought up. first of all, social media. It's a love-hate triangle, really. Sometimes, useful for when you're trying to get messages out or podcasts out like this, but also
Yes,
it is. I absolutely agree with you. It's like I call it the attention economy because
correct.
it's designed to be dopamine, 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 and the sounds and the alerts that they're all almost engineered to a T. So it's interesting you say that. And I, for one, too, I actually turn off my phone at night and I use a normal alarm, like that old school alarm that has no radio or
Mm,
nothing.
mm.
And I find so, yeah, but absolutely agree with you. So you're talking about organization. What else?
Yes. So uh, even social media and other mobile phone, the advancement has actually, reduced our memory power. If you see 10 years back or 15 years back, I never used to use calculator or GPS for simple stuff. But now people can't drive without a GPS. The ability of remembering the streets or landmarks has gone down because our dependency is too much on the phone. Or for basic simple mathematics like 10 plus 5 plus 3, people are using calculator, which is quite surprising for me. And we are so dependent on mobile, like it doesn't help our memory, and so the reading factor, the light and everything is deteriorating us as a human being while going forward towards the advancement of technology, what I feel.
Interesting points. And Santosh, I have to give you a plug again. So we are talking to Santosh Satpathy, architect by day, motivational speaker by night, for sure. And I do like your posts about productivity and just general well-being and things like that. What 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 is the why behind your motivations to help others? That's a really deep question, but if you think about it, I'm trying
Yeah.
to dig under the why as to, what what gives you the fire to do that.
Yes. So pretty much my life started from a very yeah, my father worked in Central Railway back in India, and I had too much of changes in my town. Like I never studied in a single school, so I had a lot of different shifts, which gave me the ability of adaptation. So that was one. And through my different travel, I learned a lot. And I've also seen a struggle, like quite of a struggle, like coming to New Zealand, study here, at the age of 27, retook another degree in construction management, working in different firms, dealing with immigration, blah 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 blah. So this somehow taught me too many lessons, and the triggering factor was, if I have gone through and I've done some wrong choices in my life, so if I can reach out to people and explain them why organization is important, or why staying focused is important, why creating goal is important, they can reduce their success journey by few years. Like whatever success I've achieved in my life, it took
Yeah.
me 10 years, from 25 to 35. I mean, people can do it in 5 years. It
Yeah.
will still take some time, but yeah, but you can reduce it by taking some good mentorship.
I
So
love
that
that.
is,
You
yeah, that is the motive.
I love that. It's and good on you. And I love people like you. And again, when I first met you, I straight away I could tell there was this light around you. And so that's what we're sharing with others, with our tribe, is to share the
Correct.
light and to, like you say, there's a bit of a roadmap, and if there's the old school non GPS map that we can give them. Yeah, no, that's awesome. It's really creating those tools and everything like that. That's awesome.
Right. So,
I had a few questions, but I was trying to not be distracted. Really.
yep.
So but it's hard because I'm looking at a very good looking man in my screen here. So, uh,
Oh, thank you.
and my wife would agree. So, anyways, moving on. So let's play some more music, shall we? And let's start off
Yep.
with that. Now, Flow Rider is a totally different song choice compared to Adele. Was there a reason for that? You had some examples, maybe, or yeah, tell us why the
Yes,
song choice.
uh, yeah. So the Adele Skyfall was a music that I had listened on a very repetitive mode because it somehow helped me to be in a zone, whatever zone I was in back then. And so the example was certain type of music, they help you to be in a zone. Give you a very relatable example. Have you seen actors and sportsmen or sports professional? They are always on their headphones.
Mm,
Main reason is they don't want any negative comment to go to their brain. So first is noise cancellation, and second is they want to keep themselves in a zone. So that is why the
yeah.
first song was as an example. And the Florida is a feel good song. Like, you listen to that and you start moving. And, if you're done enough for the day, listen to that song and just enjoy,
It's
relax.
funny when you
Yeah.
say those words, in the zone. I feel like recently this week, I've been writing a lot of music in my music studio, and sometimes I have really dry spells, but recently I felt like I was in the zone. But my zone tends to be 3 a.m., so my wife's not always pleased when she can hear me crawling back up to society in the upstairs area. But why do you think in the zone can be different to, say, a morning person or a midnight out, the midnight oil kind of thing?
Yeah. So, like you said, the mind and body works differently for different people. Like, it is mainly due to what kind of food we are eating, what kind of exercise we are doing, and what is our general cycle of the body. Usually I wake up at 3:30, I go to bed by 9, and 3:30 to 6 is a zone where I do all my thinking, like all my research work or reading a book or preparing the day. So that is the time I really enjoy. That those 3 hours or 2.5 hours, I feel I'm the most productive. So during that time, some silent music or some instrumental uh, music helps me to stay more focused, and uh, the productivity is much higher in that couple of hours or 3 hours than working for the 8 hours. Like, in the rest of the 8 hours, you're just doing your task, like you're replying to mails or blah blah blah. But you need to plan this 2 hours in a day for your self development. Most people miss out on that. We are just doing our daily course, but
Mm.
yeah. Have you ever felt that, like, that? So that is what I feel is being in the zone is,
Yeah,
self talk, self preparation, value addition.
I've definitely heard that term, like with athletes, as you mentioned, when they're in the zone
Yes,
and
yes,
no other distractions, no negative thoughts, as you mentioned. So that's really cool.
yes,
Uh, Look, I'm not a scientist, but I sometimes read books. So there's a book by Matthew
yes.
Walker called Why We Sleep,
Okay.
and somewhere in there it says, uh, with productivity, a third of roughly a third of the people are morning people, a third sort of in the middle, and a third midnight oil. So I actually kind of had the answer in the back of my mind, but I wanted your input as well. So, but yeah, no, very interesting. um Now, was there any kind of books that you would recommend yourself, maybe that kind of dig deeper into this, maybe productivity, using music as a tool, how to, add value in your life using music, anything along those
Yep.
lines? Yeah.
Yes. So I actually happened to read a book called Brain Rules. So in that rule, there's one chapter on music, and that's where I got this idea. Okay, yes, in life, music can be used as a tool to being, to stay focused, and so basically, music stays. So my personal experience, also, my wife watches a lot of movies, and I've seen that she has learned a lot from movies, and a lot of music is always stays with her. Like, music and watching movies and these kind of activities always stays with her. So if you see an inspirational movie, and when you walk out of a theater, music is that which stays with you. Maybe you'll forget the storyline, but you'll keep humming. So that's where I thought, that yes, it has a very deep connection. We always connect very well with music. That's and Brain Roll is a book where it kind of explained in more detail. So it has one chapter on music. So that was one. And one book I would like to recommend is Pressing the Right Button from Alison Mollett. Uh, it's it's a very good movie about how people are segregated into four different categories, and it actually works. We all are different kind of people, and some are triggered by some other points, and so Pressing the Right Button is a must read book for all the people who are hearing today. Yeah.
That's awesome. And if you are listening right now, by the way, and you're in New Zealand, we'll be opening lines shortly on 09889855. That's 09889855. I've got that phone station ready and live if anyone wants to call in. Sometimes we get calls, sometimes we don't. So it's awesome when we
Okay.
get calls out of Auckland, and it's really interesting who stays up at 7 p.m. on a Tuesday to listen to the station. But if you are listening, feel free to give us a quick call, whether it's a short or long question, whatever it is, 09889855. We'd love to hear from you. We'll play that Flow Rider song, Good Feeling, because we're all about good vibes. Santosh is here today
Yes.
to talk to us, the lovely architect slash motivational speaker, Santosh Satpathy. You can find him on all socials and, join the conversation, as they say. After the song, I've got an interesting story for Santosh, a bit of a background nugget on my behalf, and what I've noticed about music and how it can touch others, regardless of their capabilities. And more on that straight after the song. And don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on Kiwiradio.nz, upfm.co.nz. Here till 8.
Sometimes I get a good feeling. Yeah. I get a feeling that I never had before. No, I get a good feeling, yeah. Oh, sometimes I get a good feeling, yeah. I get a feeling that I never had before. No, I get a good feeling, yeah.
Yes, I can. Doubt better leave. I'm running with this plan. Pull me, grab in the bucket, can't have me. I'll be the president one day. Jam every verse. Oh, you like that gossip? Like you the one picking what gossip.com. Now I got a word for your tongue. How many Rolling Stones you want? Yeah, I got a brand new spirit speaking and it's done. Woke up on the side of the bed like I won. Talk like the wind in my chest to that sun. G5 in the US to Taiwan. Now who can say that? I wanna play back. Mama knew I was a needle in a haystack. Oh, Valley boy, plus way back. I got a feeling it's a rap. ASAP.
Oh, sometimes I get a good feeling, yeah. I get a feeling that I never had before. No, I get a good feeling, yeah. Oh, sometimes I get a good feeling, yeah. I get a feeling that I never had before. No, I get a good feeling.
The mountains high, walk on water. I got power, feel so royal. 1 second, I'ma strike for you. Diamond, platinum, no more for you. That adrenaline, never giving in. Giving up's not an option, gotta get it in. Witness, I got the heart of 20 men. No fear, go to sleep in the lion's den. That glow, that spark, that crown. You're looking at the king of the jungle now. Stronger than ever, can't hold me down. 100 miles gunning from the pitch's mile. Straight game face, it's game day. See me running through the crowd full of melee. No trick plays, I'm Bill Gates. Take a genius to understand me.
Oh, sometimes I get a good feeling, yeah. I get a feeling that I never had before. No, I get a good feeling, yeah. Oh, sometimes I get a good feeling, yeah. I get a feeling that I never had before. No, I get a good feeling.
I know we got to get feeling. Let's get it, let's get it. Gotta love the life we live it. Let's get it, let's get it. I know we got to get feeling. Let's get it, let's get it. Gotta love the life that we live in.
Oh, sometimes I get a good feeling. Yeah. I get a good feeling, yeah. Oh, sometimes I get a good feeling, yeah.
Kiwi Radio. Thanks for visiting us wherever you're listening from. Just want to read the quick comment there on the YouTube stream. Arjun Madhavan, thank you for joining us this evening. He's saying The Nights by Avicii is a great motivational song to start a workout or a long run. The Nights by Avicii. Rest in peace, too. He was such a cool producer, but unfortunately joined the 27 Club, as they say. Now, music. We all connect with whatever it is that music is. I know it's just a bunch of sine waves, whether it's high pitched or low, but it's interesting. I find it interesting, and I want to get your input on this, Santosh. As a job, I work with disabled clients. So whether it's mental health or actual physical abilities. Now the foundation that I work for did a survey for all our clients and found that out of all the pleasurable activities that people enjoy, whether it's this or that, music was in the top 2, along with walking. What were your thoughts on that survey, outcome?
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with it because music, as I told you, music has a deep impact on our emotion, and it very quickly changes your mood. Like if you're sad and if you want to come out of that, if you just change the type of music that you're listening, it helps you. So that's why even walking does that. So if you're stressed or feeling anxiety, just go for a walk. Don't carry your phone. It will change your mood swing. That's why music, walking, playing sports. Like I play badminton, and during that couple of hours of badminton, I just forget everything. So it's like meditation for me. No thoughts comes in during that place. I'm not just in that moment of the game, and so it's quite meditative in terms of. So yes, I would rate that. Yeah, they are definitely not wrong in rating music and walking at the top.
And if you know me on a personal level,
Yeah,
I 90% of the time, it's funny because when my wife's taking photos of me and my son, whatever, 90% of the photos I'm wearing closed back headphones. I'm a little bit like, and I heard this from Jazzy Jeff, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Jazzy Jeff. He said that he installed subwoofers and high quality speakers even in his kitchen because he always wanted to walk around with the purest, highest quality music wherever he was in this house. Some people call it being an audiophile, but
yeah.
do you believe you need the latest technology to kind of enjoy it? I mean, what's in your arsenal? I can see you've got in-ears there. How
Yes.
do you consume it, and in what level? Level. Just interested.
Yeah, I mean, I believe in living a precise life. So
Yeah.
if you're going out for badminton, have the best kit.
Yeah.
You know, dress for that. If you're listening music, listen. So I do have a Bose speaker
Yeah.
in my office.
Yeah.
Yes, and currently I was scrolling for a good headphones as well. So
Oh.
so do if you can afford, yeah, and if you can afford and if you can enjoy, you should give value to that. Like if it is adding value to your life, it is not spending. It's an investment. I see that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I would rather invest on a good music system and speaker to add value in my life rather than buying a high end car or something.
Yeah. So true. It's like buying a good bed. A third of your day
Yes.
is in bed, but also a majority for the most productive people out there in the world. You know,
Correct.
you got to be in the zone. I heard that
Definitely.
investor Warren Buffett would
Yep.
plan his day in 6-minute increments. Are you that kind of guy, by the way, working with professionals and architect? Do you have, and I ask this because we've had 100+ episodes of this podcast now. I think it's reaching 120. But you are
Yeah.
what I'm not saying you're the only one, but you are one of
Yeah.
few, like under 10, who has given me very detailed information. And as a radio DJ, it's really great because it gives me tools and content to go with. And also,
Yep.
like if we were doing a TED talk, you would see a counter, right, on the stage.
Yeah.
So you've
Yes.
given me that kind of detail, and I really appreciate that because
Thank you.
it's an important
Thank you, Ralph.
topic. It's an important topic and a positive message that we're trying to get out there. So we don't want to kind of
Yeah.
miss anything. So as you mentioned earlier in the podcast, it's about planning. So I feel like this podcast is probably in the top 3 due to the level of planning, despite
Yeah.
um, the bumpy intro
Yes.
with technical difficulties. Not that we had any, but here we go.
Yeah.
But yes, so we've talked about music, how it adds value in anyone's lives.
Yeah.
Before we get to the next topic, did you cover most of the things you wanted to say for that?
Yeah. I think I've already covered. One point I would like to add would be music is just not all about listening. If you learn to play music, that also improves a lot. It adds a whole new dimension in your life. You don't need to be a professional. Like in my case, I'm not a professional guitarist, but the fact is I can play 50 or 60 songs. It helps me. It improves my focus. It inspires me that I'm doing something which is actually difficult. Like most of the people in the world can't play musical instrument. So your time is spent well on new talent acquisition rather than scrolling on Instagram.
Yeah.
That is one point I would like to add.
Yeah, I've got a great motto that I came across, and this is why, like, I'm actively on social media, but I will schedule my time there because I know it's an attention economy. And I'm not one out, like I want to get people to know the podcast, but at the same time, I'm not Joe Rogan. And I know that. I appreciate that. So, but yeah,
Yes.
I also too plan my time on social media, and I think others should too, and have those 10,000 other hours that you have available into some sort of thing that brings
Yes.
value to your life, whether, as you mentioned, learning an instrument. One of my favorite comments from my music teacher back when I was a 7-year-old pianist and I walk over to her house across the road. She always told me that life was a lifelong partner. And I totally agree with that
Yes.
because even if it's 3 a.m. and you got no one to call, you could always pick up that guitar, and do that. And you don't have to strive to be at a professional level, but just the value
Yeah.
that, hey, you've come out of something and you've turned your mood around. That is an achievement to be celebrated. So that is
Yeah.
what music can do. And this is
Actually.
this is why I love podcasting too, because it's just another way to connect with the tribe. It
Yeah.
used to be back in the day, before distractions, before the internet, before any of that, you'd just have a bunch of people around a campfire talking. And this is why I love doing this podcast. And I'm so glad
Actually.
that you came on. I know it's your first time on radio. In fact,
Yes,
I
it
want to
is.
I want to remind you that it's actually not one but 2 radio stations you're on right now. So that's a double whammy right there. But
Yes.
to conclude our hour, can you share some practical tips for integrating music into our daily routines to enhance our lives?
Yep. So yes, of course, I would rather talk about 9 elements that I've discovered that we need to integrate in our life that balances. So number one is value. So through our values, we need to create mission in our life. Now, what is a mission? Mission is not that you mission is best created if it is done for somebody else. Like my mission is to help other people, which motivates me all the time. If I create a mission for myself, maybe I'll do it today, tomorrow I'm bored, I won't do it. So if you do it a cause, if you pick up a cause for doing it for others, it always keeps you motivated. Number one. Second, once only if you have a mission, you will create stepping goals, smaller goals. Once you do that, you will see, okay, these are my fears. Like before I jumped onto the stage, becoming a motivational speaker, I was like, oh my God, I won't be able to talk in front of so many audience. But then I started learning how to talk on a stage. And by doing that repetitively, I acquired skills, and now it is not, so much of concern to me. Fourth is mind. You need to prepare your mind, consume good data, stay away from negativity, because mind has a power of changing everything at once. Body, good diet and exercise is also equally important. People, here most people go wrong is wrong commitments. We are always surrounded by people, friends, families, colleagues. So hey, can you come for this birthday party? Hey, can you give me this? So wrong commitments leads you to non-utilization of time. And so number seventh is time. So there is nothing called time management, because if you can't pause time, if you can't rewind time, what are you managing? It's all about time utilization.
Mm.
And then eighth is actions, and ninth is results. So if you have all these nine elements, so in results also, when you achieve some results, you need to reinvest and keep the ball rolling. So this gives you a lot of balance. This gives you a lot of clarity. So I go with this motto of, there is chaos throughout your life. Staying fat is also hard. Staying fit is also hard. Living a rich life is also hard, but staying broke is also hard. So choose the right hard.
Mm. Choose the right hard.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
And with that, I want to say thank you to everyone tuning in this evening. And we have a wonderful tribe here at Kiwiradio.nz. In fact, over the years, you'll be surprised to know that we've collected, and this is like on a one-on-one basis, whether it's previous guests,
Yeah.
we've collected over 2,000 emails. So what we'll be doing is, I think this is worthy of the mailing list. When I send messages out to the mailing list, and I'll be happy to include this episode of the podcast, because I've definitely found it really fun and also eye-opening. And isn't it great that we have this weird thing called music, whether it's just patterns and just random noises and pitch. Somehow
Yes.
somehow humans have found so much joy out of whatever is happening in the world. It's been the one consistent, and I know that the
Actually.
other consistent is change, and that's why there's been so many changes in genre when it comes to music.
Mm.
But I just love what it does, and the value that it gives for us all and for humanity.
Actually.
Santosh Satpathy. Whoops, not that one. I pressed the crickets button by accident.
I love that.
Thank you so much for being on the show. Now, I always
No worries.
feel that a great podcast needs to conclude with sort of like a bathroom advertisement. It's not when you're selling a bath, you need a good plug. So,
Yeah.
with that, maybe you want to plug whatever it is that you want to plug, whether it's your social media, etc. Tell us more about you, where people can find you, essentially.
Sorry, your voice is breaking. Can you repeat that, please?
Oh, so I was just going to say, tell us where people can find you if they want to, get to know about your message.
Yes. Okay. So the best way to reach out is my Instagram handle is Santosh Satpathy @Santosh Satpathy. So yeah, so I'm quite active on that Instagram. So if you just do me a direct message or follow, because I'm also coming up with a series of educational content on staying motivated and creating goals and patterns of organization. And yeah, so that would be helpful for the people who are looking at
Yeah.
those kind of content. Yeah.
we we would love to have you back anytime. You're a friend of the podcast. In fact, if you're listening right now, we've got our regular music guests, but also coming up on the podcast, we have a wonderful author talking to us about her book, and more on that on our schedule. So if you are on Instagram, follow Santosh firstly, but also follow us at kiwiradio.nz.
Yes.
You'll see our latest posts, and you'll find Santosh that way too as well. And we want to say thank you to our sponsor, aucklandmamamarket.co.nz. It's
Thank you.
aucklandmamamarket.co.nz. If you're a young mum or bub under 5, we do local events throughout Auckland. Come check us out and sing a Coldplay song or something with us. Something along those lines, as Santosh did. Santosh, well done. Awesome to have you on the radio.
Thank you.
You should definitely be more, present in the radio. If that's your thing, if that gives value.
Thank
But
you.
I definitely, you've given value in my time, and I appreciate your time. It's been a wonderful hour.
Yes.
And regardless of what you're doing, I say this to my music friends, but it also translates to whatever field of expertise you're in, whether it's architecture or whatever. We want to tell you to stay cool. Please stay cool and stay creative. Okay.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Raj. Thank you so much. Appreciate you invited me.
Well, I hope you've had fun. And that was
Yes, definitely.
our wonderful friend there, Santosh, signing off. Santosh Satpathy. That's Santosh Satpathy. Satpathy for our audio listeners. Go check him out. And he's got some wonderful messages on his social media as well. So thank you. And we hope you have
Thank
a
you.
very great evening. Okay.
Yes. Thank you. Bye.
Awesome. That was fantastic. And we'll be signing off the show now with a Kiwi tune, which I found recently. Now, the song is called Sleep, because in around about an hour's time, I'm hoping to do that kind of thing. Turn off your device and actually get some Z's. If you look into that book I told you, Matthew Walker, Why We Sleep. Sleep can heal so many things. So keep that in mind. Please stay rested and stay focused, and give some good vibes to others, because I'm not sure if you're spiritual or not, but I certainly am. And one of the greatest spirit was, if you give a part of yourself to others, that gives so much more joy than saying, staying in the consumerism loop or lie or whatever it is that advertisers try to con us in. That's never a thing, or a product is never going to give you that eternal joy. It's when you give a part of yourself and you give that to others without asking for anything back. That is what will give you pure joy. And with that, we will conclude. We've talked about music, and we want to remind you to just kind of close your eyes, listen to the sine waves, and put yourself in a good mood. Thank you very much, Santosh Satpathy, who's still there in the green room, looking as handsome as can be. You definitely got to check out his YouTube as well. So subscribe to his YouTube. Black Comet is the New Zealand artist that I'm going to be playing right now with a track called Sleep. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
I don't wanna sleep. I feel when the sun goes down. It's just you and me. It's just you and me. I don't wanna dream about you when the lights burn down.
down. Won't you run with me? I don't wanna be without you. Won't you run away with me? Sail across the galaxy. And only knew how much you mean to me. Then you would see I do it. Even when the fire's low. No matter what you're going through. Oh, I do it all for you. I don't wanna dream about you when the lights burn down. Won't you run with me? 'Cause I don't wanna dream without you, without you, yeah. Without you, without you, without you, yeah. Without you, without you, without you, girl.
Kiwi Radio. We are Kiwiradio.nz, live every Tuesday New Zealand time. Tuesday night New Zealand time. Thank you so much to Santosh for being our wonderful guest this evening. The track there is by Black Comet, the advocates of interstellar funk. It's fronted by vocalist and guitarist Lafton Cora of the Cora fame. Definitely deep dive into that guy's discography and just general career. He's like Prince. You know how Prince was so prolific, writing a song every day? I'm a little bit like that. I feel like I'm in the zone as well at the moment. Trying not to be, a perfectionist and be, paralyzed by overthinking. Just do. Be creative. I was going to say something earlier to our wonderful guest, but he was so interesting. But I remembered what I was going to say now. It's really important as creatives to just stay focused and make art. Make art, not content. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants to see what you've been eating every 3 seconds. You know what's going to last? Art. Art is going to last. So make art, not content. Coming up on the show, we have Jodie Shelley Writes from jodieshellywrites.com, a writer of novels. And we'll be talking to her in about 2 weeks' time. If you want to check out our schedule, please give us a like. Instagram.com/Kiwiradio.nz. Also, check us out on YouTube.com/@KiwiRadioNZ, or listen to our radio station, Kiwiradio.nz. If you've got a song, especially if you're a local artist, or if you're an international artist and you're independent without a label, stuff like that, you can reach us on Kiwi Radio at proton.me. That's Kiwi Radio at proton.me. If you're listening to this on playback, we also have open lines, but we won't be doing any calls this evening because we've passed the 8 o'clock mark. But in future, just write it down on your little calendar. If you've got something to say or something to share, it's 09889 8555. Tuesdays, 7 to 8 p.m. New Zealand time. And with that, I want to say thank you. Kia ora koutou. Do you remember the day where they had the Goodnight Kiwi ad that used to play on TV to remind people to turn everything off? Life was simple back then, and yeah, those were good times. And regardless of what's happening out there in the world, the news cycle is so microcosm, and it just is it going to affect your life or can you focus on things that will actually bring you joy? And I was stumbling there because I wanted to find the Goodnight Kiwi theme song, which is about a minute. So this might bring back some nostalgia for people. Good night, everybody. Thank you very much for tuning into Kiwiradio.nz. Good night. All right. Take it easy. Stay cool. Stay creative.
It's Good Night from Channel 2.